Evil Within, directed by Andrew Getty, starring Frederick Koehler, Sean Patrick Flanery, and Dina Meyer. A mentally disabled man is urged by his reflection in an antique mirror to go on a murderous rampage. The Evil Within is quite possibly one of the biggest surprises of 2017 when it comes to indie horror films. Being the first and only film by the late Andrew Getty, it's an incredibly ambitious first film. We go inside the mind of a mentally disabled man named Dennis. He's been having nightmares which he thinks are not his own, but from a storyteller. The first dream we see in the opening of the film is Dennis as a child with his mother at an all but abandoned carnival in the middle of the desert. He and his mother go on a haunted house ride that is not at all scary and ends way too soon. When he urges his mother to go back and get her money back, she turns to him and says, "How do you know we're not still on it?" From there, we get to meet the rest of the cast, which includes John, older brother to Dennis, and Lydia, longtime girlfriend to John. John has been taking care of his mentally disabled brother and has brought an antique mirror into the house for Dennis. When Dennis sees the mirror, he recognizes it from one of his dreams and remembers seeing a man who we only know as the Cadaver. As time goes on, Dennis begins to talk to his reflection, which urges him to do some rather unsavory acts. I'd rather not go into any more detail as the story goes into some really crazy territory from here. For a film that was 15 years in the making and was financed by Getty himself, it's impressive to see the level of craft and care that went into his directorial debut. Unfortunately, Getty never got to see the film to completion, as he died in 2015. The film was based off of Getty's own nightmares, and it shows, as it all feels very personal. It also feels like a fever dream, especially as the film nears its climax. Michael Berryman, who plays the Cadaver, is incredibly creepy and off-putting. Frederick Koehler is also a great lead, as he's able to go from a mentally disabled man to a well-spoken man in the matter of seconds seamlessly. The same can't be said for Flanery or Meyer. Their performances come across a bit too much like a daytime soap. When we focus on the storyline around the relationship between John and Lydia, the film screeches to a grinding stop. There is some corny dialogue and stale performances from some of the supporting cast, but the overall sum of its parts are what elevate the film to something more than a bargain bin horror film. There is some truly disturbing imagery and subject matter in this film, and I found myself wincing during certain moments. I also had sympathy for the character Dennis, which is due in large part to Koehler's performance. I highly recommend checking out The Evil Within, which at the time of this review is currently streaming on Prime Video. It's well worth checking out, especially for seasoned horror fans.